Welcome to Mortgage Mom Wines, a weekly podcast with real and relatable talk and advice for real women. I'm your host, Megan. Grab your extra large coffee or glass of wine, no one is judging, and let's grow together. Okay, welcome to Mortgage Mom Wines, everybody. I'm your host, Megan, and I'm here with Lori, and I'm going to let Lori, she's our special guest today, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her and all about her journey and her business, and I'm going to let Lori just kind of share a little bit about her and her background, and yeah.
I'm really excited to be here today. Thank you so much, Megan. I've been selling real estate since 2005. But almost 7 years ago, it'll be 7 years in July, I opened up my own company in Coal City, Illinois called Lori Bonarek Realty.
So you are a broker owner?
Yes.
All right. So tell us a little bit about why you got into real estate, right?
Okay.
Why real estate? And also why your own brokerage? How did that all come to be? Why did you decide to be an owner?
Yeah, well, I had a great mentor. I was selling homes in a senior living community, and you did not need to be licensed to do that. It was, just marketing. So the mentor that I had there, she was in real estate, and she just kept saying to me, "You'd be natural at this. You should absolutely get your license." And she talked me into it, and I did.
Okay, so someone talked to you. I feel like that's kind of how we all end up in business or the industry.
Right.
Like somebody makes a recommendation or says you'd be really good at this, and next thing we know, it's a snowball, and we're all into it, right?
Sure.
So what were some key milestones, would you say, in building your brokerage?
Building the brokerage, I would say that was just like taking the leap, like not being afraid to go ahead and do it. I worked for a national chain, which at the time, I was very happy with that. But then I just felt like I needed something different. I wanted to make the rules. I wanted to make the choices about who I worked with and things like that. And so opening my own brokerage gave me the opportunity to do that.
So what would you say? I heard you like, obviously it was a little bit scary, right?
Yeah,
so what helped you
absolutely.
overcome that fear? Because I feel like as women, and especially no matter what industry you're in or you're opening a business, it's scary. So what helped you kind of get over that fear? And you said you took the leap. So what would you say was that? How did you take that leap, or what helped you overcome that fear?
I would say that was the support I had of friends and family.
Okay.
Really, I always had confidence in myself, but I think that the fear in this instance was overtaking the confidence. And luckily, my family and friends were such huge supporters. They gave me the belief, and they've been with me every step of the way, and I'm really grateful for them. But in all honesty, it was family and friends that just gave me the confidence to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, because sometimes we don't always have support, or there's complete strangers on the internet, right? That are like just not supportive. So to have that good, strong support system, whether that's a close friend or a family member or something, I think is so important. So, if you're out there listening and you're like, hey, I want to do something, but you're scared, find your tribe. Right?
Yeah.
Lori, it sounds like you have a fantastic tribe. I know you have a great team. Tell us a little bit about your team and your.
Yeah, so quite a few of the agents that we have at the office, we have 23 agents. Quite a few of them have been with me since the beginning. And they are what keeps LBR going. One person, even though I'm the owner of the company, there was a lot of people along the way that made Lori Bonarek Realty the company that it is. So, but I am grateful that I have, agents that have been with me since the beginning, and, they're very loyal to the company and understand all the things that I want to do as a company. Something that's really important to me is being involved in the community.
Yeah.
So to work at my company, you have to be willing to get involved. And different things that we do. We started with, and I recruited local business owners to help me with this. We start a Holiday Hustle 5K every year in our town. My town is the city, and other local businesses come together. They help us run the event, do all of the fundraising. This last year we raised over $12,000. This year we raised a little over 10,000.
With
This
one
was
event.
our fifth year doing it. So, I mean, it's being involved in the community is telling the community that we're not just about business, but we're here, to help the community that we live in.
And I love that. And community is also really important to me too, right? And I know it's important to a lot of people listening. So I think it's amazing that, and I want everybody to take note, whether you own your own business or you're even at a regular 9-to-5 job, community is so important. And I mean, where I'm going with this is your community is also your tribe, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
kind of the vibe I'm getting. Your community is your tribe. And I'll tell you guys, I drive through Coal City when I either go to Lori's office or I go to other businesses in that area where we have little meetups and everything. And everyone knows Lori. Everyone knows Lori. Like it's just, and her community involvement is so amazing to see. I mean, you said $12,000 for one event, and you don't just, and as women, I think we need to support other women. And I think it's amazing that you bring people up with you.
Yes.
I love that. And
that's really important to me. I mean, I want to support other local businesses, obviously. I mean, living in a smaller community, I think that a lot of that comes natural. Sometimes in larger communities, I think people have to work a little harder at it. But I think in a small community, it comes natural because everybody knows everybody and everybody wants to help everybody. And I think that like sometimes people think that like, okay, you're in the real estate business, they're in the nutrition drinks business, they're in the floral business. Like, how do we relate? But we do because we're all local business owners. We all care. We all want to make a difference. And we all want to promote small business.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're here. I go over that with like other loan officers I'm talking to, or other realtors I'm talking to, other business owners, whether they're on the chamber of commerce or at the local library, wherever I am. And referrals are what we focus. Business owners thrive off of referrals, no matter what industry you're in. We love referrals, but I always ask people, how many referrals are you giving? And that's why I love your community involvement, because if you want to get referrals, we have to give referrals. If you've ever been a part of anything like BNI or networking groups or things like that, they keep track of how many referrals you give, and their whole motto is like givers gain. And yeah. I love that, and I truly believe that. And you embody that and live that in your values every single day. And I think it's amazing. And you shared small town. So for those who don't know Coal City in Illinois, do you know an estimated population of Coal City?
Yeah, like probably I'd have to check lately, but like a little over almost 6,000, like 5,000 something.
6,000 people. You guys. So Lori has a successful real estate brokerage in a town of 6,000 people. I want to drive that point home, because you could easily use the excuse of, oh, my town is too small, or there's not enough business out there, but you're proving it every single day that no matter where you live or how small your town is, you can make an impact and you can grow a successful business. So I want everybody to definitely, if you take one thing away, take that away from today, that you can grow a successful business no matter where you're at. So Lori, getting into like how you built the successful brokerage even more, what would you say, give us some advice on managing a team? You are the owner, you manage a big team of 23 agents. How do you continue to foster like that positive? How do you stay positive? How do you manage a big team?
I think a big part of it is actually caring about them. Like it's very important for me to make sure that all of the agents know that I absolutely care about them. I understand that somebody might, because their family life, they have 4 kids and they can sell 2 houses a year. And somebody else who's putting a kid through college wants to sell 50 houses a year. I try to like help everybody in the way that they need to be helped so that it meets whatever their goals are. We don't have any minimums. Nobody has to sell a minimum of houses a year or anything like that. Everybody gets, again, treated the same no matter like what their production is, but it's more letting them know that I care and giving them the tools that they need. Because that's something that, when I, left where I was working before, was I got to decide what kind of tools I was going to give. Yeah. So I made sure that they have all the tools that I thought were important for them to help them succeed.
I love that, because it's almost like you're giving them what you wish you would have had, or what you know what I mean? You're giving them a leg up. And I think that's amazing and critical for building and keeping a positive work culture and environment. Now you're not just a realtor and a broker owner, you're also a mom and a wife. And I don't know if you say, forgive me, grandma, is it Nana, grandma? How do you?
Yeah, I go by Grammy.
You go by Grammy, okay.
Everybody was like, you need to have some fun name. And I said, I've been waiting to be a grandma. So it's going to be something to do with that. And so I went with Grammy, but they're 15 months old and 9 months old. So they can decide when, the time comes what they want to call me. But right now I'm just calling myself Grammy.
Yeah. So you're all the things. I say that on this podcast and in my social media, all the time. I say we're all the things. So you're not just a wife, a mom, a Grammy, a business owner. You are all the things. I think it's amazing. So how do you balance all of that? Give us some advice and, maybe things you would have done differently when you were younger, or things that you realize now is important as you've been tenured as a business owner. And tell us a little bit about that work-life balance that we all see.
I feel like everything comes back to something you talked about in the beginning, which is your tribe. I couldn't balance all the things if I didn't have the people that were there to support me. Yeah. So one of them is I have a full-time assistant, which I don't even call her my assistant anymore because her and I are actually going to be co-managing Lori Bonarek Realty together. So she's way more than an assistant. But Jen Phillips will be with me 10 years in April, and she has definitely helped me find the balance.
She's
you have to have the help, and you have to have the other agents that you can send clients to and different things that you can do. But I mean, balance is all about the people that surround you.
So you don't do it all yourself?
Nope. I couldn't.
Okay, did everybody hear that? She doesn't do it all herself. And I hear moms say all the time, and I used to get angry when people say, well, delegate or just don't add more to your plate and then wonder why you can't do it all yourself. It used to make me so angry. And there were all these videos floating around on social media that was like, if I don't do it, then who the heck's going to do it? Yeah. Right. Well, I would challenge people to think to change their thinking and say, am I not getting help because I'm not asking for it or because I'm not allowing it?
Right.
So I know as women and business owners, dare I use the word control freaks, right? We can be control freaks. At least I can be. I'm not saying everybody is, but if you're listening to this, you're probably falling in that category. So how did you let go and delegate and ask for help? What are some ways that like personally, I struggle to ask for help because I like things done my way. I want it done. I'm a perfectionist. So how did you kind of let go and let Jen in to help you and people around you to grow?
And Jen would absolutely tell you that took time, because I had gone to a seminar, and basically at the seminar, because it was when I very first wanted to start a team. And at the seminar, they said, you need to pay someone for anything. And this is in the nicest way, that's below your pay grade. Like something that divide the money that you make. How much do you make an hour? And what things on your list could you pay someone less money to do? And for me, it started out small. Like when Jen started with me, she was unlicensed. So it was like putting up signs, putting on, a lockbox, measuring things, going to get my dry cleaning, like all kinds of things. I hired someone to clean my house. I hired someone to wash my car. I started to learn okay, these are things that if I paid someone that made less than my hourly wage, I would have more time to sell houses and to do stuff. But then one day Jen came to me and she's like, how could I help you more? But being unlicensed, she couldn't. Okay. And she said, what if I got my license? And that was literally a game changer. So I think if you have someone that's going to help you and you work together to have the same philosophies and the same way of doing business, then you're going to be able to pass on that trust. And that was the thing for me. It had to be someone that I knew was going to represent me, my name, my business, just the way I would. So that would be my best suggestion, is find someone that has the same beliefs, the same work ethic, the same everything, and then giving up that responsibility will come natural. It'll come easy.
Absolutely.
Once you realize this person's gonna, and I mean, of course they should be able to have their own individuality. They're not going to be your twin, but as long as they have those same basic skills, and then if they do have some other ideas, they're going to bring them to you, but you have the same philosophy.
Right. The same morals and ethics and values, and you want to surround
Yeah.
yourself with people who are going to lift you up.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell everybody. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Absolutely.
Choose wisely, right? And it sounds like you have a great partner in Jen, and success isn't, I tell people success looks different for everybody. First, you need to define what success looks like to you, but also who are you bringing with you? And that's why I wanted to get you on here, especially because I feel like you're somebody who brings people with you, and you just lift up everybody who's around you. And that's the kind of person we want sharing on this platform. So what are just give us a couple key strategies on how you grew your business to be able to hire those people to help you. And because obviously, right, there might be some stay-at-home moms listening to this, or women who are like, I don't have money to hire somebody to clean my house. It's me. So what are some key strategies you use to grow that business, to bring in the income, to do things like that?
When I started my business, not the business of Lori Bonarek Realty, but just started the business of Lori Bonarek Realtor, like how I started out, I didn't have the amount of money to really spend a lot of money either. So I based my business on customer service. I've always believed in handwritten notes, and making someone know that they're important to you no matter what their price range is. I just told this story to an agent in my office the other day that when I very first started out, my office was across from a mobile home park, and I sold $12,000 mobile homes, $15,000 mobile homes,
Wow.
$20,000 mobile homes. But to me, every transaction, and I had a mentor that helped me understand this, every transaction is a touch with a client. Somebody who lives in a $20,000 home someday is going to want a larger home, and then they're going to want a larger home. And really, that's how I built my business, was just treating every single person like they were important to me. And you didn't have to have a lot of money for marketing. You were your own market. If you gave them good business, then they refer to you. And that's just how I started out. I mean, it took me time to have money to invest back into my business.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes years. And I love what you said, that you basically said you are your brand, your customer service, because we talk in business all the time about branding and marketing and this, but people will always remember how you made them feel. And that becomes your brand. Like, I forget the quote. I wish, gosh, now I'm on the spot, so I can't think of it, but it's like, your smile is your logo, your personality is your business, and how you leave people feeling is your brand, or something along those lines.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Oh my gosh. So
I think something that I just want to share that I thought was really cool was the very first real estate transaction that I had in 2005. Last year, I was able to sell their home, the first home that I ever sold, and get them into a new home. And that was really full circle for me. Like, going back to the people that they came to me.
Your very first transaction.
Last year, it was 18 years later that they called me to buy their next home.
So repeat customers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A huge amount of my business is repeat business.
Yeah. I think, and that just goes to show, if you care about people, you do a good job, it's going to come back around, and your business will grow over time. It's not like LBR wasn't born in one day, right? It's not built, and it's continual growth and continual business, and continuing to foster that, good work environment and all the things, but also while being a mom and a wife and a Grammy, like doing all the things. And I think you're a great example of someone who does it all. And all of us women listening are like, oh my gosh, how do you do it all? How do you do it all? Well, you guys, Lori's sharing it, right? And she's living it and she's doing it. And now I'm going to get into, we got to talk about challenges and problems and setbacks. Because I guarantee, it sounds all perfect, right? We're doing it all. We're wearing all the hats, all the titles, business, everything's hunky dory. But tell us about maybe some obstacles you had, and how you overcame them, and some difficult times.
Yeah, I think that anytime you're in a sales business or a competitive business, you're gonna run into jealousy. So that can happen. I mean, I feel like everybody knows a real estate agent, but sometimes they might pick one person over another. So sometimes you can run into different things like that. But other challenges, honestly,
Or
outside
how do
of
you
things,
how
yeah.
do you deal with the challenge if it comes your way? Like if you have a difficult customer or, you have a difficult employee or an employee problem, like
Yeah.
how would you say is the best way to overcome something like that?
I guess probably is to like, I don't know. I really like, I'm just like, I'm at a loss.
No, it's
Um,
okay.
yeah, I
Well,
just, yeah,
I think you stay positive. Like that's something
yeah,
I noticed, like from the outside looking in,
okay.
is every time I see you, it's always positive. Like you see the good in everything, and I think that's something that I want like listeners or if you're watching this to take away is like how we react to things. And I think we can choose. I said this in a few, like a couple episodes ago, but like you can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. And I just think you're a great example of that. So do you have any like I know some people do like a miracle morning or practice gratitude or have
Oh,
a
yeah.
routine that they do. Do you have any
I
best
do.
practices that you do
Yeah, I
to
do
keep
have a
you
best
positive?
practice. And I guess like maybe even going back to like the question that you asked, like challenges, I think that maybe I'm not great at seeing that like negative because I want to think everything's great all the time. So that's
Yeah.
probably something I could work on, that like there might be something going on and I might miss it because I want to be like, everything's great, like we're doing great. So it's probably something I should like put on my 24 list, to
And I
2024
think
list.
that's a great trait. So
Like something like that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But so tell me your question
I'm
again.
trying to remember, we got sidetracked, but that's okay. It's all good stuff. Like we're talking
Yeah,
about all good things. So just how you stay positive. Your
yeah.
routine, like
So
what have
I
you
do have a
recommend
morning
doing?
routine. Like for me, like every morning I do like start my day with a quote,
Yeah.
like that's important to me, and sometimes it might be a quote about like what I'm feeling for that day, or, something that somebody around me I felt like might need or was feeling. And I started that many, many years ago, just posting it on my social media. And it really was just to like start my day out that way. But I have been really blessed, like for people to like message me and say like, hey, thank you so much for that. I really needed that. And then you're like, I didn't really, I was like doing it to like make my day, start out the way that it should. And I think that's something that about social media that people think, and we all talk about that. Like the social
Yeah.
media does have like a fake side that people think everybody's lives are perfect, but like
Right.
sometimes
The
those
highlight
quotes
reel.
are to help me. Like I needed that, like pick me up for that day. It was going to be a busy day. And I was like, I'm literally going to be running from one place to the next place. Like, what's going to get me started so that I'm not feeling stressed about it, or, that I see the positive side of it or something like that. So I do like start out the day like with some type of a quote. If I don't do it, sometimes people will message me like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I didn't get to do it that day. One thing about me is I'm a morning person. So I'm
Yeah.
up between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. So
Wow.
I explain that to my clients when we meet, in my seller or buyer's presentation, that I'm a morning person. If you want to catch me in the morning, feel free before my day gets busy. But literally, if someone texts me or emails me past 9 o'clock, I'm probably not responding to the next day
Yeah.
because I'm just not a night person. Now, if I'm in the middle of a transaction, or negotiating something, like the other night I had to stay up late because I was in the middle of a negotiation on multiple offers, but otherwise that's not like a time you're going to catch me.
Yeah.
So I
But
do
what
start my mornings out like that.
I'm hearing though that business happens after hours, right? If you're a
Yeah.
business owner or or mom or whatever, we know it's not a 9 to 5 thing. Like we are 24/7 for the most part, right? Unless we're sleeping. But I'm with you. I'm a morning person. Some people listening might not be, but I'm definitely a morning person. And I can attest to Lori's quotes every morning. And it's something so simple as just a little quote on your social media. You don't know who you're helping, right?
Yeah.
And if
I
it helps
really
one
learned that.
person, and I'll tell you, they're so encouraging every morning. I'm a morning person as well. So I know Lori's sitting there getting ready for her day and I'm scrolling through and I get her quote and it starts my day off positive. So if you guys don't follow her on social media, you totally should, if anything, just for that positive morning quote, because they really are good. You share some good ones. And there's days where I'm like, I needed that today. I'm probably one of those people that has messaged you like, I really needed that today. And so don't underestimate the little things. Like those little things can make a big difference in your business and somebody else's life. Maybe even if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're sharing a quote that might give another mom encouragement, maybe she really needed to see that today. And it's the difference between her having a bad day and a really good day, because that quote just kind of changed her thinking and her mindset. So I always tell people, if you get the nudge or the urge to share, because it could just help one person and that makes it totally worth it. So last couple of things I want to talk about. Obviously, being a woman in business can have its challenges, right? So what would you say? I'm trying to think of how I can kind of word this. How specifically to real estate industry, and obviously lending real estate, and sure, we all kind of go hand in hand, but how has it evolved for women over the years?
When I started selling real estate back in 2005, it was mostly men. Like there was definitely more men than there is women. That's changed. It seems like there's a lot more women now in the business than there was men.
For sure.
But I do think that like in any industry, women were always going to have that challenge. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be that challenge to prove yourself, and so I just went into it with, I am who I am. I'm here to do a good job. I'm really more concerned about the job. I always try to make myself be more concerned, even as an office, like what are we doing to make ourselves the best, personally, professionally, not worried about like what the other office is doing, like worry about us. And that's all we've got to worry about. We don't need to worry about what the other person's doing. So
Right.
I think that's like the challenges too, like whether it's male, female, or female, is like worry about yourself and what your lane is and what you're trying to, like what your goal is, than worrying about what the other person's goal is. There's plenty of business, honestly, for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're stay in your lane. That's
Yep.
kind of what I'm hearing, is stay in your lane. And also what I'm kind of getting off what you said is, no, we're not playing the victim mentality.
No.
A lot of times, yes, as women, we do have it harder, right? We are sometimes in male dominated industries, or no woman has done that before. Or as women, we are expected to do all the things. I always say we're kind of expected to raise children as if we don't work, and work as if we don't raise children, right? That's kind of but it's easy to kind of fall into that victim mentality. So I want to encourage everybody to try not to. No matter what excuse, no, we don't want to give excuses. We don't want to fall into like a victim mindset. We want to start our day with that positive, the quotes, whatever we have to do to get in that positive mindset. What the words we say to ourselves matter. Like, that's why I think, Lori, you starting your day with that positive quote is a huge takeaway, because the words that you speak matter, and what you surround yourself with, we talked about tribe. The tribe you surround yourself with matters. I mean, imagine if you started every day with a negative quote, or a poor me, there's too many men and all the men are getting all the business. Or, what if you picked an assistant who's super negative and she's like, oh my gosh, the market is so slow this year. Like we're just not going to do anything because the market is so slow. I mean, that stuff is contagious.
Yeah.
Right. It's so contagious. So I just want to encourage everybody that positivity is the way. There's always good in something. And so I think it's really awesome how you share how it doesn't matter, woman, man, young, old, it doesn't matter. So what would you give, last thing I want to kind of talk about is, what would you give someone who is new to the business, or thinking about getting into real estate, or thinking about opening their own brokerage? What is something you want to share with them, or some advice you'd give to a young woman getting into it?
Yeah, probably to someone who's just starting out would be to give it time, because I think that like a lot of times, like I love new agents because new agents come, they don't have any bad habits, they're excited to learn, but I think that sometimes they don't they're too hard on themselves and they don't give themselves enough time. It takes time to build a business. Like you cannot build a business overnight. Right? So like there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, and you want to stay positive, but you can't let one bad day, someone that didn't choose you, or, someone that you tried to talk to on the phone and you weren't able to convert them into meeting with you or something like that. Like you can't beat yourself up over that. Like you just have to give it time. And you have to but set time aside every day for work. You know, I think that sometimes two people that don't always like succeed didn't like map out a plan. You have to have a plan, and it has to be long-term. Like you have to have short-term goals, medium goals, long-term goals. Like everything can't be like, this year I'm going to sell real estate. It's my first year and I'm going to, you know, sell a house a month. Like you have to set realistic goals,
Yeah.
you know,
And how are you going to do that?
Time to build that business.
Yeah, no, I love it. Planning and setting goals is especially, I mean, not just early in the year, but revisiting those goals and planning all year round. Like we always have to plan. Plan or fail to, what is it? Fail to plan to fail.
Yeah.
Right? So I love that. Great advice. I can't believe it's already been 30 minutes. I feel like we could talk all day. But I'm share with us the best way to contact you. You guys, I'm also going to leave Lori's contact info in the show notes. And so you can follow her on social media, visit her at her office, all these things. Sure, but what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can reach me at 815-325-4760. And you can also follow our office at Lori Bonarek Realty on Facebook, Instagram, and we do have a TikTok as well with a few TikToks on there.
You did a full house TikTok.
This is my very first podcast. So I really wasn't sure what to expect.
You did fantastic. You're amazing. And I'm so thankful that you decided to do this, and thankful that you shared just a part of your story with us. And as a woman in business, I think it was really encouraging, and a lot of people probably got a lot out of this. And I just appreciate you being willing to come on. I just look up to you so much. And I think it's amazing what you've done and what you'll continue to do, and especially what you do for the community. So thank you so much. And everybody, like I said, I'm going to drop Lori's info in the show notes, and let's show her some love, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks, Meg. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Follow this podcast for more real life and real talk with the occasional whining thrown in there. Red or white, the choice is yours. See you next episode. Cheers.